All right, this was about a shot caller. This is what makes a good shot caller. I'm gonna break down what makes a good shot caller. You know what I mean? In prison. You know what I mean? And everybody said in the comments they need this type of structure on the outside, so I'm gonna break it down so that if someone is trying to get things organized and get things right to keep the violence down and keep the community right, this is what makes a good shot caller. So put your comments in, your troll remarks, in the joint. You already know how we do. All right. All right, Unique Mecca Audio, man. I'm here. I'm going to tell you about what makes a good shot caller. All right? Now, a good shot caller, is needed, on every yard. You need a shot caller on every yard. The administration know this, the convicts know this, and even the inmates know this. The difference between an inmate and a convict is an inmate does what he's told and a convict does what he wants to do. Because we don't care about the repercussions. You know what I mean? Or repercussions. Y'all want to correct me. All right? Gunshots. Now, just so you understand, if you go to a compound is either, we're dealing with the white guys now. They told the white guys. You go to a compound and you could have an independent yard or you could have a gang yard. An independent yard is where, they're independent and they roll alone by themselves, like they're not associated with a gang, where the gangs don't run the yard. Then you got the gang yard where, the biggest gangs from the race is the ones that run that, and the administration is going to step to them and they're going to, confront them about any problems that they're having on the yard. They're going to step, to the shot caller, and the shot caller is who keeps the structure and keeps things organized on the yard. Now, if somebody owes somebody money, let's say somebody owe you, 10 books of stamps, a little $50, you understand? 20 books of stamps, If they owe you money and they don't pay, they taking too long to pay, or you don't like how they're paying, If anything of that nature come about, then you're going to step forward and you're going to quickly go to the shot caller and say, yo, such and such owe me money and I'm ready to do something to him. And they say, nah, you ain't got to do nothing to him. How much does he owe you? And they make sure you get your money, and then they take care of that person because they don't let someone from outside the race put hands on somebody within the race, but they will murder each other in a minute, but they're not going to allow anyone from another race to murder anyone. Hence the Lewisburg with the ABs and the DC brothers, So you understand what's going on. This is how it works in a prison. So now we got an independent yard, we got a gang yard. You know what I mean? Now it's every yard, like I said, has a shot caller, and whatever he speaks, it's mandatory that the people listen to. Now, a shot caller can't be getting high, can't be messing with he cipher, monkey ciphers, and can't be he cipher truth. You know what I mean? They got to be straight up men, because if they're any one of those, they're going to get punished. Now, in order to become a shot caller, you have to be voted in by your people. The same way they have a presidential election or congressional election, they have a shot caller election, And the shot caller have to have a good background of putting in work. You know what I mean? Meaning he went through the ringer already. Meaning, he done stabbed a couple of people, definitely he stood tall, didn't tell, and things of that nature. So that's how that worked. Now the shot caller would give somebody coming on the compound 30 days to get their paperwork. So after 30 days, if they don't have their paperwork, they're going to get stabbed up, or they know they're not going to have their paperwork, they'll check in within the 30 days. Now this is some of the ways they check in. What happens is they'll go buy drugs from this person, that person on credit, and then they'll borrow stamps from this person, they'll get food from this store man, and they run up a whole bunch of debts. Now, when they run up a whole bunch of debts, they have no intentions on paying. They just plan on living good for that 30 days. So now they don't run it up, you know. The easiest way for one of these, rat bastards, you know what I mean, to get, a transfer is they got to turn a knife in. Turn the knife in is equivalent to on the street where you turn in a gun and the police pat you on the back of the neck and tell you, good boy. You know what I mean? So, they'll make a knife and turn in a knife, and tell them that their life is in danger, and the police put them on the bus a whole lot faster than them just saying that, yo, I'm hot, I can't be out there, they're going to kill me. You know what I mean? They'll put you in a hole and they let you ride back there 18 months because they know your ass should have never violated and walked on their compound because there is killers amongst us. So youngins, don't get involved in breaking the law because you don't want to wind up in this situation. And it's so easy for somebody to put a bone on you that, that you hot. You know what I mean? It's easy. But when they do that, you must push your knife immediately. That's not nothing that you run to a shot caller about. That's nothing you run to your homies about. If somebody call you hot or, or he cipher, monkey cipher, you must put your knife in them because anything unanswered they take is true. You know what I mean? But it's different I see out here because they could just go on they could just go anywhere. They could literally go anywhere and say anything they want on YouTube and just make up a bunch of lies. And there's no repercussions. But in the prison, there's repercussions to putting a bad bone on somebody and making up a lie. You know what I mean? So hence, that's why they got the keyboard gangsters. Gunshots to the rat bastards and trolls that want to play these games, Now, so you fully understand what I'm saying. 30 days come, dude done ran up this big debt. Everybody goes to a shot caller before the 30 days and tell him, yo, he owe me, he ain't paying me. And then they talk to dude, and dude say, I'm waiting on my money order, and he's just stalling, he's trying to get out of there, So when dudes come on the compound, like black dudes, when I got on the compound, dude gave me a knife. First thing he did was give me a knife. You know what I mean? Now, the white dudes, when they get on the compound, they don't give them a knife until after they check their paperwork because dudes not worrying about them turning around using a knife on them so much because that can happen and it has happened. But what happened is dudes would get a knife and then they'll take that same knife and turn it into the police to get transferred. You see the vicious games these rat bastards and trolls play? You know what I mean? They working with the administration to get the knives off the compound because they figure if they get a knife off, that's one life they might have saved, But everybody needs a knife because everyone has one. And when you get into a problem in the penitentiary for you young guys listening and watching, even you older dudes, that just don't understand that it's not worth it, know that when you go to prison, these are the things that you have to subject yourself to. You know what I mean? Now, they have what they call mandatory call-out, Mandatory call-out is when they say, all right, we're going to work out at 8:30 move every morning. So 8:30 move, everybody have to go out there and everybody's doing their burpees, push-ups, pull-ups, burpees, crunches and leg kicks and every damn thing else. That's the way that works, just so that you fully understand where we at with that, right? Let me turn this off. Yeah, so that's where we at. So that's why you can't play any games when it comes to going to prison and thinking that you're just going to run amok. The administration want the shot callers, like I said, and the convicts and the inmates all want the shot caller because the shot caller is like being able to go to the president and say such and such is doing this, like the warden. You go to the warden and say that an officer, took my property and it costs X amount of dollars and I want my money. You know what I mean? Instead of you just going to put your knife in the officer, you go to the warden. So on the street, in the prison, somebody owe you, you go to the shot caller, and that's what it is. That's the same thing like you hustle on the street, and you got a dude out there hustling, he got his crew out there, and one of the crew members are disrespecting the women, disrespecting the kids, or whatever they're doing. The neighborhood is going to go to whoever is the shot caller or the leader of that crew and say, look, He's selling drugs in front of kids. You know what I mean? He's selling to pregnant women or whatever he's saying, and then they'll talk to him and let him know, nah, slow down, my nigga. Don't do that in front of the kids, da-da-da-da. And if you do it again, I'm going to punish you. You know? So it's the same thing. So there's structure and all of that on the outside as well as on the inside, just so that y'all understand, you know, exactly what I'm talking about, you know? So you don't want to get caught up going to prison because you don't want to have to go through that. Now, a shot caller, you know, must have a good relation with other groups. As long as they got a good relation with other groups, then that means that if somebody from another group owe them money, you know, or vice versa, they could come to each other and speak about it and try and rectify the problem. Everybody's trying to rectify the problem without no gunplay. You know, that's their knife in the prison. So you don't want no gunplay, so you try and rectify the problem, but you're not going to take no disrespect. If you feel that your man is right, you're going to stand on it, and then whatever happens after that happens, and everybody must move out when one move out against another race. That's the main time. If I could not say even the only time, and I hate using words only and, you know, forever and stuff like that, because nothing's forever. Like my life plus 20 wasn't forever. But that's the only time that all the blacks come together in the prison. If another race put their hands on a black man, every black man in that prison is going to get armed up and get their knives, garbage can or broomstick or whatever, and ready to go to war against the other race, even if they don't mess with that car, you know, and you already know car just means your geographical location or your gang or whatever. So if the Bloods get into it, New York, Philly, Baltimore, D.C., all of us get into it. The Crips get in it, New York, Baltimore, D.C., all of us getting into the GDs, same thing if it's another race. But that's how we stick together and we keep things rolling and keep things motivated. Now, the shot caller keeps the peace, you know. You don't want a shot caller getting high because he's going to make choices based on getting high. You know what I mean? You don't want a shot caller messing with a he cipher, monkey cipher, because he's going to make choices dealing with he cipher, monkey cipher, emotional, you know what I mean? Feelings. And we don't need that because we don't deal with feelings and emotions. We deal with instinct and desire because we have to follow our instinct to complete our desire to survive. And that's the way it works. So, you know, that's basically what a shot caller is. If y'all got any questions, put in the comments. Y'all got any topics you want to talk about, you don't want me to talk about, or you see a, you know, YouTube video or news clipping or whatever that you want me to speak on, feel free to share it. You know, Cash App on the screen. You know what I mean? Remember, it must say created 2020. My name is Unique Mecca Hall. It's not spelled H-A number one and then an L. It's not none of that. You know what I mean? Just so that you understand. All right? So that's where we at. I just wanted to give y'all something real quick on what a shot caller is. So don't say I didn't give it to you. Don't say you don't know. So I don't need none of you, you know, saying that you don't know from this day forward, because we here, we moving together, and I just want everybody to be enlightened on what's going on. So just take your time, relax, and enjoy your day. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
What?
Fresh out the can of 26,
yeah.
He back on the strip, getting back in the mix.
Yeah.
What he mentions a gift.
Right.
You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this.
Real.
Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit.
Yeah.
Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn.
Real.
Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, make an audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. Baby horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, you we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the root men.